My wife called from the hospital, sobbing. Honey, the doctor refuses to operate on our son. He says he's too critical. I asked, who's in charge? She told me the name. I said quietly, hold the line. 5 minutes. I didn't call an ambulance. I called the hospital director. Everything changed after that. The call came at 3:17 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was in a budget meeting, fourth quarter projections, revenue forecasts, the usual corporate white noise, when my phone buzzed. Sarah's name. I almost didn't answer. She knew I had meetings until 5, but something made me look at the screen. 3 missed calls in 2 minutes. I excused myself and stepped into the hallway. Sarah? Sobbing. Immediate, gut-wrenching sobbing. My stomach dropped. What happened? It's Jake. Her voice was shredded, raw. There was an accident. A car ran a red light. She couldn't finish. Where are you? St. Catherine's. Emergency room. Tom, they're saying, another sob. The doctor won't operate. He says Jake's too critical, that we should prepare ourselves. The floor tilted under me. What do you mean he won't operate? Dr. Matthews. He keeps saying the risk is too high, that Jake might not survive surgery anyway, so why put him through it? Her voice cracked. Tom, he's giving up on our son. Jake, my 6-year-old, the kid who still climbed into our bed during thunderstorms, who wanted to be a firefighter, who just lost his first tooth 3 days ago. Who's in charge? I asked. My voice came out wrong, too calm, too cold. Dr. Matthews. Michael Matthews. The name hit me like a fist. Michael Matthews. I knew that name. Hold the line, I said quietly. 5 minutes. I'd met Michael Matthews exactly once, 12 years ago. Sarah and I had just started dating. She was in her 3rd year of medical school at Northwestern. I was a financial analyst at a mid-sized firm, working 80-hour weeks to pay off student loans from a state school nobody'd heard of. We met at a hospital fundraiser, one of those black tie events where rich people write checks and feel good about themselves. I was there because my boss couldn't make it and needed someone to represent the firm. Sarah was there because she'd volunteered to help organize. She was beautiful, confident, way out of my league. I asked her to dance anyway. 3 weeks later, we were inseparable. 4 weeks later, I met Michael Matthews. He cornered me outside Sarah's apartment one night, late, after midnight. I was leaving. He was arriving. You're Tom, he said, not a question. Yeah. Sarah's, what? Boyfriend? That's the plan. He smiled. Sharp. Predatory. You know she's going to be a surgeon, right? Top of her class. She could work anywhere. Do anything. I know. So what exactly do you do? I'm an analyst. At Kellerman Financial. He laughed. Actually laughed. Never heard of it. Most people haven't. Right. He looked me up and down. Sarah's brilliant. She's going places. She doesn't need nobody dragging her down. Good thing I'm not dragging her anywhere. We'll see. He stepped closer. I've known Sarah since first year. We have history. You're just temporary. Then he walked past me and knocked on her door. Sarah answered, smiled at him. Michael, what are you? Wanted to see if you were free this weekend. There's a conference in Boston. Trauma surgery focus. Thought you might want to come. Oh, I can't. Tom and I are... Right. Tom. He glanced back at me. Well, if you change your mind. He left. Sarah closed the door and looked at me. He's harmless. Just competitive. He thinks I'm not good enough for you. He's an idiot. She kissed me. You're perfect. 2 months later, Michael asked her to dinner. She said no. He asked again. She said no again. 3rd time, he brought flowers to the hospital. Expensive ones. Sarah handed them to a nurse and told Michael to stop. I'm with Tom, she said. I'm happy with Tom. He's a nobody. You deserve better. He treats me like a person, not a trophy. That's better. Michael stopped asking after that, but I remember the look on his face. Pure hatred. Directed at me. 12 years later, that same man was standing over my dying son, refusing to save him. I didn't call an ambulance. I didn't call a lawyer. I called Dr. Patricia Chen. Patricia had been the director of St. Catherine's for 6 years. Before that, she was chief of surgery. Before that, she'd spent 15 years building the hospital's reputation as one of the best trauma centers in the Midwest. I'd worked with her for 8 of those years, not as a doctor. I'd left financial analysis 7 years ago and moved into nonprofit development, fundraising, specifically hospital fundraising. St. Catherine's was my biggest client. 3 years ago, I helped them secure a $12 million grant to build a new pediatric wing, the most advanced in the state, cutting-edge equipment, private rooms, art therapy, the works. They named it after my family, the Henderson Pediatric Center. My name was on a bronze plaque in the lobby. Patricia answered on the second ring. Tom, everything okay? No, I said. Everything is not okay. My son is dying at your hospital, and Dr. Matthews is refusing to operate. Silence. Then, what? Jake was in a car accident, internal bleeding. Matthews says the case is too risky, too critical. But Patricia, my voice cracked. Matthews is one of the best trauma surgeons in the state. You and I both know this is bullshit. Tom, there's no misunderstanding. My wife is watching our son bleed out while Matthews stands around doing nothing, and I know why. Why? He tried to date Sarah in medical school. She chose me instead, 12 years ago. Apparently, he's still holding a grudge. More silence. Then her voice went cold. Steel cold. Stay on the line. I heard papers rustling, rapid footsteps, her voice barking orders to someone. Pull the Henderson case file, now. Yes, the 6-year-old in Trauma Bay 3. 30 seconds of muffled conversation. Then she came back. I'm looking at Jake's chart right now. Her voice was tight, controlled. Matthews marked him as non-viable candidate for surgery. But Tom, these vitals don't support that assessment at all. His BP is stable. Bleeding is contained. The last laceration is operable. I know. So why would Matthews— She stopped. This is personal. Yes. He's letting a child die because of a 12-year-old grudge over a woman? That's exactly what I'm telling you. I heard her breathing. Sharp. Angry. I'm going down there right now. Stay on this line. Patricia, if my son dies because of this, I'm not just pulling funding. I'm going to the state medical board, the press, and every lawyer I can find. I will destroy this hospital. He won't get the chance, she said. I'm ending his career myself. She didn't hang up, just put the phone down. I could hear everything. Doors slamming. Patricia's voice, loud and furious. Where's Matthews? A nurse. Trauma Bay 3, but get Dr. Park. Tell her to scrub in immediately and get security to Bay 3. Now. More footsteps. Running this time. Then Patricia's voice again. Closer. Dr. Matthews. Matthews's voice. Smooth. Confident. Director Chen. I was just— Explain to me why you marked a 6-year-old with stable vitals as non-viable. It's a judgment call. The internal injuries are extensive. His spleen is lacerated. That's a standard trauma repair. You've done 50 of them. The risk of complications, the risk of death if you don't operate is 100%. So why aren't you in surgery? I made a medical decision. Did you make a medical decision? Or did you decide that Tom Henderson's son doesn't deserve to live because his mother rejected you 12 years ago? Silence. Director, I don't know what— I have Tom on the phone right now. He just told me everything. You tried to date Sarah Henderson in medical school. She chose him, and now you're letting their son die. That's absurd. Is it? Because I just reviewed your file, Dr. Matthews. 3 complaints in the last 2 years. 3 patients with questionable medical outcomes. All 3 had personal connections to people you have documented conflicts with. Those were legitimate. Get out of my ER. Excuse me? You're suspended. Effective immediately. Security will escort you out. Dr. Park will handle the surgery. You can't do this. I'm the director. I can do whatever I want. And what I want is you out of my hospital before I have you arrested for medical negligence. This is because he's a donor. This is because you're a danger. Get out. Now. A pause. Then Matthew's voice, low and venomous. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is not catching you sooner. Security. Footsteps. Shouting. A door slamming. Patricia's voice came back, slightly breathless. Tom? Still there? I'm here. Dr. Park is scrubbing in now. She's excellent. One of our best. Jake's going to be fine. My knees buckled. I sat down hard on the hallway floor. Thank you. Don't thank me. I should have caught this months ago. Matthews has been a liability for years. She paused. I'm sorry, Tom. This should never have happened. Just save my son. We will. I promise. I made it to the hospital in 14 minutes. Ran 3 red lights. Didn't care. Sarah was in the surgical waiting room, curled up in a plastic chair. Her face was blotchy, eyes swollen. She looked up when I came in. They're operating, she said. Dr. Park. Patricia came down herself. Said Matthews was suspended. I sat next to her, put my arm around her. I made a call. To Patricia? Yeah. How did you— She stopped. You told her. About Michael. I told her everything. Sarah was quiet for a long time. He tried to kill our son, she said finally. I know. Because I rejected him 12 years ago. I know. What kind of person— Her voice broke. I held her. We waited. The surgery took 4 hours. Dr. Jennifer Park came out at 8:43 p.m. She was younger than I expected. Early 40s maybe. Short hair, kind eyes. Jake's stable, she said. The repair went smoothly. Spleen laceration, grade 3. We removed about 30%, but the rest is healthy. He'll make a full recovery. Sarah started crying again. Relief this time. Can we see him? He's in recovery. Give us another hour to get him settled, then you can sit with him. Was the surgery difficult? Dr. Park looked at us. Really looked at us. It was straightforward, she said carefully. The kind of surgery we do every week. There was absolutely no reason to mark him as non-viable. So, Matthews— I can't comment on Dr. Matthews's decision-making, but I can tell you that your son was always a good candidate for surgery. She paused. I'm glad Director Chen called me in. After she left, Sarah turned to me. You saved him. Patricia saved him. You made the call. You knew who to call. She grabbed my hands. Tom, what if you hadn't? What if you just trusted Matthews? But I didn't. He was going to let Jake die. I know. She pressed her forehead against mine. I chose you 12 years ago. Best decision I ever made. Patricia found me in the cafeteria around 10 p.m. I was drinking burned coffee and trying not to think about how close we'd come. Tom, I stood up. Patricia, thank you. I don't know how to— Sit, please. We sat. She put a folder on the table, thick, official looking. I've been reviewing Matthew's file, she said. This isn't the first time. You mentioned complaints. 3 cases in 2 years. All patients with connections to people Matthews had personal conflicts with. A teenager whose father sued Matthews' brother. A woman whose husband outbid Matthews on a house. And a man whose wife rejected Matthews at a hospital fundraiser. My stomach turned. What happened to them? The teenager survived. Barely. Matthews delayed surgery for 6 hours, claiming he needed more tests. The woman died. Matthews said she had underlying conditions that made her high risk. And the man? He's paralyzed. Matthews did operate, but made errors during the procedure. Jesus Christ. The families complained. Filed formal grievances. But Matthews was highly respected. Former chief resident. Published researcher. The complaints were dismissed as grieving families looking for someone to blame. But now I have a pattern. And I have your case. Clear motive. Clear negligence. The board will have to act. Will he lose his license? If I have anything to say about it? Yes. She slid the folder across the table. This is everything. everything. Medical records, complaint files, tonight's incident report. I'm forwarding it to the state medical board first thing tomorrow. I'll also be recommending a full investigation into his other cases. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know. And because, she looked at me. Tom, Matthews tried to file a complaint against you. Said you used your donor status to intimidate him. To force the hospital to punish him for a difference of medical opinion. Are you serious? He emailed me 20 minutes ago. Threatened to go to the press. Said you abused your power. I felt anger rising. Hot and sharp. He tried to kill my son, and he's claiming I'm the problem? That's exactly what he's doing. And that's why I'm giving you this file. When he starts telling his story, you'll need to tell yours. With evidence. I opened the folder. Pages and pages of medical records, complaint forms, incident reports. At the bottom, a handwritten note from Patricia. Medical decisions should be based on patient outcomes, not personal vendettas. Dr. Matthews violated the most fundamental principle of medicine. Do no harm. His career ends here. I saw Matthews one more time. 3 days later. Jake was being discharged. Sarah was packing up his things. Stuffed animals, get-well cards, the Spider-Man backpack he'd refused to leave behind. I went down to the cafeteria to grab lunch. Matthews was in the parking lot, loading boxes into a silver Lexus. No hospital badge, no white coat, just a man loading boxes. I walked over. He saw me coming, straightened up. Come to gloat? He said. No. Then what? I want to understand. Why Jake? He's 6 years old. What did he ever do to you? Matthews laughed. Bitter. Ugly. You really don't get it, do you? Get what? Sarah was supposed to be mine. We were in the same program. Same goals, same future. Then you showed up, some nobody financial analyst, and she threw it all away. She didn't throw anything away. She's a surgeon. A damn good one. She could have been great. Chief of surgery, research, awards. But she chose you. Chose mediocrity. Chose a life of, he waved a hand, suburban nothing. She chose happiness. She chose wrong. I stepped closer. 12 years, I said quietly. You held on to this for 12 years. And when you finally had a chance for revenge, you chose a 6-year-old. I made a medical judgment. You tried to kill my son. The surgery was risky. It was routine. Dr. Park said so. Patricia said so. The medical board will say so when they review your file. His face went pale. Patricia's reporting you, I continued. Every case, every complaint, every patient you let suffer because you couldn't handle your own ego. You have no proof. We have 3 dead or injured patients, all with personal connections to people who crossed you. We have tonight's incident, with clear motive and multiple witnesses. We have security footage of you refusing to operate while my son's vitals were stable. I paused. We have everything. Matthews said nothing. You tried to sue me for donor intimidation, I said. Patricia told me. You were going to claim I abused my power. You did. I made a phone call. That's it. I called Patricia and told her the truth, that you had a personal grudge, that you were refusing to operate because of it. I stepped closer. If you want to sue me, go ahead. I'll see you in court, with every file, every case, every piece of evidence showing what you really are. He stared at me. You ruined my career. No, I said. You ruined it yourself, the moment you decided my son's life was worth less than your ego. I turned to walk away. She made a mistake, Matthews called after me. Choosing you. I looked back. No, I said. She made a mistake trusting you. The medical board suspended Matthews' license 2 weeks later, pending full investigation. Patricia sent me the letter. Official, cold, final. Dr. Michael Matthews' medical license has been suspended effective immediately. The board has found credible evidence of medical negligence, personal bias affecting patient care, and violation of professional ethics standards. A formal hearing will be scheduled within 90 days. Sarah and I read it together. Jake was upstairs playing with Legos. You'd never know he'd almost died 3 weeks ago. He'll never practice medicine again, Sarah said. Good. I feel, she stopped. I don't know, sad, angry? Both. I knew him for 4 years. We were friends. I thought he was a good person. Maybe he was. Once. And now? Now, he's the guy who tried to kill our son because he couldn't handle rejection. She was quiet for a long time. Thank you, she said finally. For what? For making that call. For knowing what to do. For, her voice cracked, for saving Jake. Patricia saved Jake. You knew who to call. You knew your connection to the hospital mattered. You knew how to make them listen. I got lucky. No, she turned to me. You were prepared. You built relationships. You helped that hospital for years. And when we needed them, they were there. Because Patricia's a good person. Because you knew Patricia. Because you'd worked with her. Built trust. She squeezed my hand. Matthews thought you were a nobody 12 years ago, but you weren't. You were just getting started. 6 months later, Patricia called. Tom, can you come by the hospital? There's something I want to show you. I met her in the main lobby. She led me through the halls, past the emergency room, past the surgical wing, through the corridor that connected the old building to the new one. We stopped in front of a door. Brand new, polished steel. No markings yet. We're opening a new trauma center, Patricia said. State-of-the-art equipment, dedicated surgical staff, 24-hour coverage. That's great. Matthews was supposed to run it. We'd already earmarked him before, she paused, before everything. What happens now? Dr. Park's taking over. She's brilliant, compassionate, everything Matthews should have been. She handed me an envelope. We're naming it after your family, the Henderson Trauma Center. I stared at the envelope. Patricia, you don't have to. Yes, I do. What happened to Jake should never have happened, ever. A doctor's personal feelings should never never, never affect patient care. This is how we make sure it doesn't happen again. Inside the envelope was a rendering, beautiful, modern, glass and steel. Above the entrance, in clean letters, the Henderson Trauma Center. Below that, a bronze plaque with an inscription, in honor of Jake Henderson and all patients who deserve care free from bias, prejudice, and personal agenda. Medicine is service, nothing less. My throat tightened. We're unveiling it next month, Patricia said. I hope you'll be there. The night before the unveiling, Sarah found me in Jake's room. He was asleep, sprawled across his bed, one arm hanging off the edge, mouth open. You okay? She asked, just thinking. About? Matthews, that phone call, how close we came. She sat next to me. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you hadn't known Patricia? If you'd just been a regular parent in the ER? Every day. That's the thing that scares me, she said. How many other families don't have that connection? Don't have someone to call? I don't know. We got lucky. We had you, had Patricia, had resources and connections, and she looked at Jake. Other families don't. No, they don't. So what do we do? I thought about it. We make sure the center works, I said. We make sure it's staffed by people like Dr. Park, people who care, people who put patients first, no matter who they are or who they know. And if we find more people like Matthews, we expose them. Every time. She leaned against me. He tried to destroy us, she said quietly. Because I rejected him 12 years ago. I know. You think he regrets it? I don't care. You don't? No. He made his choice. We made ours. We're here. Jake's alive. That's all that matters. She kissed my cheek. He called you a nobody. I remember. He was wrong. Maybe, or maybe I was a nobody back then, and maybe that was okay. What changed? I looked at Jake, at Sarah. I found something worth fighting for. The unveiling was beautiful. 200 people, hospital staff, donors, city officials, news cameras. Jake cut the ribbon, big theatrical scissors, huge grin. The crowd applauded. Patricia gave a speech about patient care and institutional accountability. Dr. Park talked about trauma medicine and the lives they'd save. I didn't speak, just stood there with Sarah and Jake, watching. After the ceremony, a reporter approached. Young guy, local news station. Mr. Henderson, can I ask you a few questions about Dr. Matthews? No. The medical board revoked his license last week, permanently. He's appealing, claiming the hospital targeted him because of his relationship with your family. I said no. But don't you think the public deserves to know? Sarah stepped forward. My son almost died because a doctor decided his personal feelings were more important than medicine. That's the story. Everything else is noise. The reporter blinked. So you're saying? I'm saying a trauma center is named after my son because we want to make sure no other family goes through what we did. Focus on that. He nodded, walked away. Jake tugged on my hand. Dad, can we go see the inside? Sure, buddy. We walked through the center. Bright, clean, new equipment gleaming under fluorescent lights. In the main hallway, another plaque. 5 minutes can change everything. Make them count. Sarah squeezed my hand. Was it worth it? She asked quietly. All of this? I looked at Jake, running ahead, laughing, alive. He spent 12 years waiting for revenge, I said. I spent 5 minutes ending his career. She smiled. Best 5 minutes of your life. Second best, I said. What was first? The night I asked you to dance. She kissed me. Behind us, the Henderson Trauma Center opened its doors, ready to save lives, ready to serve patients, all of them, regardless of who they knew or who they didn't, because that's what medicine should be. And sometimes it takes 5 minutes and one phone call to make sure it is.